Guys, new Celestial Nail Lord just dropped. Pun superintended. Any newly born Scaramouche havers will recognize the purple and gold artifact set, Flower for Paradise Lost. Its pieces tell the story of the goddess of flowers, a seelie who ruled with her besties King Deshret and Rukkhadevata. Its lore is nothing like I had expected or predicted, and it's so exciting. My interpretation is still very fresh, so I may be overlooking some salient points. At the end of the unified civilization, with the war against the Second Throne, the goddess of flowers and all seelies were exiled from the heavens and stripped of their minds. Her body was a husk compared to its resplendent former self. Sometime after, there's the start of the Archon War. Now, King Deshret chose to ally himself with Rukkhadevata and the goddess instead of fighting them. And it seems like this is because Deshret himself had been questioning the authority of the Divine Throne and wanted to talk it out with the Primo One. In fact, he may have been interested in a rebellion himself, perhaps akin to the Tsaritsas. It even reads, "Only by suffering through the destruction of a god's delusion can humanity learn to rise against the divine will." The goddess of flowers warns Deshret that the heavens won't hesitate to destroy a civilization for doing such a thing. She relays a story about her exile to illustrate. He disregards her warning, and it's implied that this caused the destruction of Ay-Khanoum, the moon maiden city they ruled together, and it was consumed by swirling sands. This is heavily implied to be because of a sapphire celestial nail, which Deshret survived, but the goddess of flowers did not. This is a basic breakdown, but what I really want to highlight is the amethyst crown, which tells the story that the goddess told to Deshret. Let me break down the passage in question. The goddess of flowers recounts the time of the unified civilization. This is the same time when Salvin Dagnir and others spoke directly to divine envoys, the seelies being divine envoys. She then describes invaders who descended from beyond the firmament, bringing destruction. This is the Second Throne, the alien invader! And they fought the seelies. This is where it gets weird, though. The invaders brought war, but also brought illusions that could break through the shackles to the land. And even more, the Master of Heaven, Phanes, or the Primordial One, feared these delusions, illusions, and breakthroughs. Now, I don't know what these breakthroughs are, but it could potentially line up with the Primordial One and their singular taboo of temptation, which had been sealed off previously, until the Second Throne came. So the Primordial One took drastic action. Phanes sent down the celestial nails to mend the land, and ended up destroying the world. It's unclear to me if the nails were a weapon to fight something and the destruction was a consequence, or if the destruction of a civilization was the purpose, the mending. She goes on to talk about her own exile and her fear of a conflict between the stars in the abyss. Then she gives the very ominous warning to King Deshret. "Seek not the master of the four shades, and inquire not of the mysteries of the sky and the abyss. Otherwise, as shown by the nail of retribution, certain calamity and sorrow shall follow." Guys, this is nuts to me. I had long thought that the author of Before Sun and Moon was incorrect about the Second Throne losing. I mean, they do say they assume and don't know, and it is kind of weird that Enconomia was cut off and the Divine Envoys stopped coming down. But I digress. This means that the Primordial One did win. This still seems wild to me, as the Primordial One's entire disposition drastically changed because of the illusions and breakthroughs. It does kind of feel like a switch from a loving to a wrathful god, kind of like the New versus Old Testament version of God. It's also reminiscent of God's relationship with humanity before and after original sin. I can see why this set references Paradise Lost by John Milton, which is literally the story of Lucifer's rebellion and the exile of Adam and Eve from the Garden of Eden. This information about the Primordial One also strongly points to the demiurge of Gnosticism. In Gnosticism, the demiurge is a being underneath the actual god, and is a creator of the physical world. They unconsciously model the material world after the divine, but they are also inherently and deeply flawed, and sometimes malevolent. It may be kind of weird to imagine a malicious creator, but perhaps the switch from loving to wrathful is simply a reflection of their imperfection. I'm still questioning, though, what exactly did the Second Throne bring that was so threatening to the Primordial One? Was it simply the illegal knowledge that aliens exist, ergo the world wasn't the universe as everyone had been told? I mean, I would be pretty embarrassed if someone revealed that I was just a normal dude and a massive liar. Could it have been some sort of knowledge about how to ascend or reach enlightenment, which is massively regulated by Celestia? Or was it something more nefarious? I've already been speculating quite a bit here, but here's some really heavy speculation. Perhaps the nails point to the answer. We know from the chasm and dragonspine that the nails have an effect on leyline fields as well as human health. It's why the chasm was shut down. But we also know from the Lumenstone adjuvant that it has a purifying quality, dispelling abyssal mud. And given that the Primordial One sent down the nails to mend the world, could the breakthroughs have been something abyssal in nature? Like, say, forbidden knowledge? And I mean specifically the corruptive abyssal kind. I mean, there are also many descriptions of the abyss being called otherworldly and alien, too. I'm really not sold on this quite yet. Mostly because my understanding is that the abyss, the void realm, has existed since the light realm, before the Primordial One's arrival. But I wonder now if, when the Primordial One arrived, the realms were not connected or he cut them off. But, by piercing the firmament, the Second Throne re-engaged that connection. I don't know exactly how this would work, given that leading theories about the world model place the abyss way, way below, or above the human realm. But it's the only way I can reconcile forbidden knowledge being brought by the Second Throne. I mean, it could also be a combination of a few things. So, for example, it's one part the illegal knowledge that the sky is false, and that the Primordial One isn't as divine as they present themselves, and the other part is the forbidden knowledge, which is a dark corruption that feeds into the temptation for power. Anyway, like I said, this is all heavy speculation. I'm just kind of letting my imagination run wild. I have no answers just yet, just tinfoil hats. As usual, thanks for tuning in, and hit that like button and subscribe and leave a comment. I co-host a stream over on Twitch with Owlet Desu, where we analyze lore, story, and characters, and we also get real goofy. So come say hi. See you on the flip side.